Good morning. It is actually a lovely morning. I know the weather is not as optimal as it could be, but it is a good morning. And we want to welcome all those on YouTube that are watching us live stream. Today we're going to explore spirituality in music, and so I thought it would be important for you to know that the piece that Bonnie just played is one of her favorites, or is the favorite? No. One of. Okay. So you'll hear a variety of pieces and styles of music today, and you'll sing a few songs today. As you listen to the music, first we think about the practical parts of music, the rhythm, the beat or the tempo, the dynamics, whether it's quiet or loud, the melody from high pitch to low pitch, the harmony, the consonance or dissonance, the tonal quality, the different qualities of music that come from voice and different instruments, the texture, whether they're 1, 2, 3, 4 patterns kind of over on top of each other, and the form. Contemporary, rock and roll, classical will be some of what you hear today. So as you hear the music, allow it to come into you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And perhaps you might notice if your feet begin to tap, or you begin to sway a little bit, or if you want to stand up and dance. We had a little person dancing last time, and big people can dance too. Whatever you feel, let the music move you. So we're going to sing ourselves into this service today. Well, last time I said you could sit, but it seemed like everybody wanted to stand. So let's stand as we sing ourselves into worship this morning with hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
So at the first service, I quoted the script which says that the mission statement is in the order of service, but I couldn't find it. So it was pointed out to me between the services, it is there, but I still couldn't find it. To avoid you that despair, we're going to put it right up there for you. We gather as an exclusive community to grow in character, mind, and spirit, and to transform the world towards fairness, love, and compassion.
This responsive reading was collaboratively written by almost every member of the choir of the Unitarian Universalist Community Church in Augusta, Maine. Choir members were asked to respond in 50 words or less, so you can imagine how that must have gone, to the question, "Why do you sing?" Portions of their full responses were then woven into this responsive reading. To your left is the congregational response. And when I strike the chime, please say the congregational response.
Singing is an act of creation, of bringing into the world something that wasn't there before.
Singing is a natural expression of my spirit. At the same time, it can be soothing, energizing, crying, laughing, angelic, or down in the dirt blues. It's all good.
Singing is energy, going out to the world to create even more sympathetic energy. It can and does change the world.
I sing for the pure joy of it. I sing for that spine-tingling sensation when you know you and your fellow singers have touched those who listen.
I sing because it opens doors, doors inside and out.
I sing because it helps me understand the power inside me and how to use it fearlessly and gently. Yes, it feels mighty fine, too.
With gratitude, we celebrate the gifts shared. With wonder and delight, we receive. May the melodic offerings continue to touch our hearts and nurture our spirits. There are feelings too complex to express in words that can somehow be conveyed through singing.
Singing is alive with emotion, and expressing myself that way makes me feel whole.
Learning the songs that touch different people's heart is a way of knowing them better.
Why do I sing? Yes, it feeds the soul. It brings me back to a childhood of singing in the car or while doing the dishes with my family. It engrosses me in something beautiful.
I sing because of the joy and camaraderie it brings into my life. Music expands my world.
My great pleasure in singing in the choir is the opportunity to bring music I love to others. Making connections with the choir brings an even fuller sense of community with friends, with other Unitarian Universalists, and with the divine interconnected web of life.
I love the challenge of making the notes all come together and blend with other voices. Making music together is the ultimate expression of community harmony. With gratitude, we celebrate the gifts shared. With wonder and delight, we receive.
May the melodic offerings continue to touch our hearts and nurture our spirits.
Please rise in body or spirit, and let us sing together and sing hymn 326 in the gray hymnal, Let All the Beauty We Have Known. What are your greatest musical moments by Becca Johnson? There are great songs and there are great moments. There are times when music elevates you to a space that's bigger than yourself, more than your body can hold. There are musical moments that move you to chills, tears, or make you triumphantly raise your arms in air like you're in church. If there's anyone within earshot, you grab them and say, okay, now listen, this part right here. You lean in together as the music plays and you say, right? Now listen again. Some of these songs you can't listen to anymore because it hurts too much. There are beautiful scars that you'll never let go of, and if they weren't there, you wouldn't be the same. Within each of these songs, there's that moment of inspired meaning that hits you. It's like when you're in love with someone and your stomach drops every time they laugh a certain way, or when they say your name, or when they make others laugh. Those are the moments that punch you in the gut. Like Paul Simon says, sometimes even music cannot substitute for tears. This summer I was driving with my partner to a wedding a couple of hours away. Vampire Weekend's "Ya Hey" came on the radio. I turned it way up and we just listened as Ezra Koenig sings.
Oh, sweet thing, Zion doesn't love you. Babylon don't love you, but you love everything. Oh, you saint, America don't love you, so I could never love you, in spite of everything.
I felt the music bellow up inside of me and I had chills. A minute and a half into the song, I looked over and my partner was crying, tears streaming down her face, wiping her nose with car napkins, crying. Then we arrive at this part of the song. At 1:48, it breaks down a little to just a low rhythm. The bass and the kick drum nod the song along. Then a string-like synth plays long, high notes, and in front of that melody, Ezra Koenig sings.
Oh, the motherland don't love you. The fatherland don't love you. So I love anything. Oh, good God, the faithless, they don't love you. The zealous hearts don't love you. That's not gonna change.
As the song builds back up, a church choir starts singing. There it is. That was my moment. Here's an invitation for you. What is your greatest musical moment? Perhaps it's a border song by Elton John.
Holy Moses, I have been removed. I have seen the specter. He has been here too. Distant cousin from down the line. Brand of people who ain't my kind. Holy Moses, I've been removed. Holy Moses, I have been deceived. Now the wind has changed direction and I have to leave. Won't you please excuse my frankness, but it's not my cup of tea. Holy Moses, I have been deceived. I'm going back to the border where my affairs ain't abused. Can't take any more bad water when poison from my head down to my shoes. Oh, oh, oh. Holy Moses, I have been deceived. Holy Moses, I have been the peace. Let us strive to find a way to make our hatred cease. There's a man over there, what his color, I don't care. He's my brother, let us live in peace. Oh, he's my brother, let us live in peace. Oh, he's my brother, let us live in peace.
And you can hear them again on May 12th. 12th, isn't it? Yep. 7 o'clock. Nice rock and roll concert here. There are many ways that music touches us. Music can be also a meditation. And so today, you're going to have the opportunity to meditate to music. Our DuPage Unitarian Universalist Drum Circle will offer us that time. So find your space for meditation and allow yourself to listen as they play. English playwright and poet of the Restoration period, William Congreve, wrote, "Music has charms to soothe the savage breast." It's often misquoted as savage beast. But I don't think music always soothes. Sometimes it provokes, sometimes it saddens, sometimes it agitates, sometimes it empowers, sometimes it rocks your world. Playing music, singing music, listening to music, it does something to us. It touches something within us. And when it does, it invites us in, compels us to listen, calls us to action, urges us to remember, and can even deepen our connection with one another. Last week, I did a piece on spirituality and art, and in that sermon, I mentioned an article by the Journal of Frontiers in Psychology. I want to tell you a little bit more about that article and the research that was done, because it was done on both paintings, people looking at paintings, and people listening to music. And they self-reported what their experiences were. So, as they listened to music, the feelings that were evoked were feelings of tenderness, nostalgia, powerfulness, joy, peacefulness, and sadness. In addition, relatively more participants reported as they listened to the music, they experienced some mood repair and social motivation. So what does that mean? Mood repair, social motivation. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about that using my own life as kind of an experiential way of sharing what this thing is all about. So I grew up on rock and roll. There are a few of us that did. Okay. My aunt introduced me to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones when I was 8 or 9, and then in junior high I picked up a few albums that I was interested in. But it wasn't until I was a teenager when music, listening to music, and relationships were intertwined with one another. Music brought myself and my friends together, connected us. Rock and roll was one of our deeply held common interests. And music was the motivation for many of our memorable experiences together. We'd listen to newly released albums in one of our bedrooms and get into heated arguments about what we thought about the music. My opinion about the Rolling Stones album, Some Girls, almost cost me a few friendships. And we went to musical concerts. Oh my gosh, I must have damaged my hearing at A Cheap Trick, Black Sabbath, Jethro Tull, AC/DC, Yes, Doobie Brothers, Genesis. And we wanted to go to these concerts so badly. We'd stand in line overnight, desperately trying to get the next best concert ticket. It was one time the last concert tour of Led Zeppelin, and we were trying to get in, and we were in line all night, and people started cutting in line, and so we just threw one of our friends into the music shop over the heads of some of these people that cut in line so he could get us tickets to that concert. And he did. We did. And I remember us all huddled in a tent in the pouring rain at the Pink Floyd's Animal concert. The music, oh my gosh, God, it brought up so many things. We were in Jefferson Stadium, and they had huge speakers in the front and the sides, all the way around, and the music was spinning around, and there were animal noises coming out of the speakers, and giant pigs were being inflated and fireworks were going off. Whew. Those are the things that glued us together and continue to connect us. Though our understanding of styles of music and preferences of music have changed over the years, we are still close friends to this day. So music is a social glue for many. It may not be rock and roll, but for many it can be. And besides being a force for social bonding, it also solidifies memories. Perhaps in our minds and hearts, the music can become soundtracks to our memories. So that when a particular music is heard, a song that reminds us of something we've associated with a particular experience, it's like we're transported back to that time with all the sights and smells and tastes and emotions of that experience. It's like when I hear Venus and Mars or Listen to What the Man Says by Paul McCartney. I remember when Martha and I were courting in college. I had an old 8-track player in my dorm room, and, well, I just had a few albums on 8-track, and one of them was Venus and Mars, so that played a lot. Didn't have to put on the needle or anything, you just plugged it right in and it went. And it provided sort of a soundtrack to our deepening relationship. And we reflect back on those times with nostalgia. And those wonderful experiences from the past help us cope with the challenges of the present. As you saw this morning, as you listened to the drums beating during our meditation, music can be used as meditation. I remember the premiere of Pink Floyd The Wall on radio. It was on midnight. I had to put my mattress down, told everybody to leave me alone. I was in the dark and put these huge headphones on, and I listened to that for the next few hours. Emotions, memories, feelings happened throughout that album that were amazing. By the end, I was emotionally drained, exhausted. That's what music can do if we listen to it mindfully. You know, I tend to be a person that gets easily distracted. So for me, when I'm listening to music, I try to put aside all other things, try not to do anything else. I just open myself up to the music. And as I listen, I don't have any expectations. And I think, I close my eyes, and I see you all do that too. When there's a piece of music playing that's really contemplative, close your eyes and let the music take you where it will. And you might get relaxed, and that's perfectly fine, but other things might happen as well. You might go on a journey of sorts, discovering something new about yourself, or develop some insight, or find yourself just relaxed and comfortable and finding some peace deep within. Music can do all of these things if you allow it to. It can take you on a journey of self-discovery, a spiritual journey, if you let it. And it can do one other thing. It can bring up a variety of emotions and allow you to feel them without distress sometimes. Nina LaCourte is a fiction writer. She's an adult fiction writer. And she said this. She says, music can hurt and feel good all at once. The power of music can bring forth emotional and psychological responses, and it can be used, because of that, it can be used to heal. You know, many of you know there are music therapists out there, and they've done all kinds of research on the psychological and physical. One piece of research I'll share with you was done by Beth Israel Medical Center's Louis Armstrong Center for Music. And they took 272 premature babies during 32 weeks gestation or older in 11 mid-Atlantic NICUs. And they examined the effect of 3 types of music: a lullaby sung by their parents, an ocean disc, which is a round instrument invented by the Remo Drum Company that mimics the sound of the womb, and a gato box, a drum-like instrument used to stimulate a 2-tone heartbeat rhythm. And they played these regularly with these infants. 2 instruments were played, the gato box and the ocean disc were played by music therapists. And so, as the babies listened, something happened. The singing that their parents did had the most profound effect. Those babies slept more deeply, and when they were alert, they were much more alert than otherwise. With the gato box, their sucking behavior was enhanced, and with the ocean disc, they fell asleep quicker. In addition, the parents were there while this was going on, and the parents reported that their stress level was reduced. Joanne Loney was the lead author in this study, and she said there's just something about music, particularly live music, like the parents singing to their child. It's why music therapists and psychologists are investigating the use of music in medicine, not just psychologically, but for physical healing as well, for pain, Alzheimer's disease, hypertension. Music very much has a way of enhancing the quality of life and can, in addition, promote recovery. So how does music do that? How does music help us physically heal? How does music help calm us so psychologically we heal? How does it resonate within our heart, mind, body, spirit, so that something happens? We don't have a real answer to that. But we do have enough research to say that something does happen that's healing for people. It's therapeutic for people when they listen to music. One other thing I noticed about music, and perhaps it's based on spirituality or this resonance within our body, I'm not quite sure, but I know that when a task needs to be done, particularly a task I don't want to do, like cleaning the garage in the spring. I mean, you have to clean the garage pretty soon. Not yet, though, not yet. But if I do that while I'm listening to music, it makes me move it, move it, move it. Heard that before, right? I use a soundtrack from Beverly Hills Cop when I really want to get work done. Doesn't that make you want to move? You can't have tap your feet. Anyway, all right, I'm back now. I'm not sure why it works, but it's like it's not like it's coming from the outside in. It's like it's coming from the inside out. So it results in this internal drive to move and do. And it's not just about cleaning the garage. Music's been used to get people to do things, to move, to motivate people, to give them hope. It was used in the civil rights movement. Songs like This Little Light of Mine and We Shall Overcome were sung as Martin Luther King went over the Edmund Pettus Bridge. The music gave them hope. It bonded them together as a community. It got them walking when there was stuff out there that was dangerous, things they needed to be afraid of, but they were not deterred. The music helped them move. Bono, the singer-songwriter, said, "Music can change the world because it can change people." Music can change people. It has. I mean, it spawned a movement. It heals people. It cures people. It brings people together. It does so many things, and we don't know exactly why. But you can't deny that when you're listening to a piece of music that really touches you, something happens inside. You cannot remain static. It's no wonder that music is used in movements like social justice, or music is used in worship. It seems to open us up or change us in some way so we're ready for something hopeful to fill our hearts. So as you go from this time, I invite you, play music, sing music, listen to music, and be mindful of what you experience. Aware that as you play, as you sing, as you listen, something might change. You might be transformed in some way. Or as you play and as you sing, you might transform someone else, community, the world.
Unitarian Universalist Reverend Michael Hall wrote our offertory words. As we approach the time for our offering, give what you will. For the church that has meant so much to you, for the church that meant so much to those who come before you, and for the church that will mean so much to people you will never know. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. It's not required, but if you feel the need to stand up to dig in your pockets deeper, that's okay. The offering will now be given and received.
Now it's time for us to extinguish the chalice. But let's carry music in our hearts as we leave this time, opening us to that direct experience of the transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures, which moves us to renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces that create and uphold life. It wouldn't hurt us to sing one more time, would it? So I invite you to stand in body or spirit, and let's sing I Know I Can. Words will be projected up here. I added one of the lines from the responsive reading that Martha read earlier for our closing words. I said, music is an act of creation, of bringing into the world something that wasn't there before. So my friends, go forth into the world remembering that the world needs your music. The world needs the creation of something that wasn't there before you started singing. I invite you now to turn around and greet one another. Let's share the love of this community with one another.